Garland flips the screen for Garland, who fires the three.
Meet Darius Garland, the electrifying point guard slowly making his mark as a franchise icon in Cleveland and as a youngster in the NBA. At just 24 years old, he's already the main man for the Cavaliers, a brutal force to reckon with on the court, and of course, an NBA All-Star. Folks, this is a youngster that shouldn't need any introduction at all, as he was already headed straight for the top. However, tragedy struck, and the superstar was left struggling to regain the form that had seen him become something of a hero in these parts. Now, word on the street is that this could just be Garland's comeback season, which means the Cavs could finally be headed for a breakthrough outing for the first time since King LeBron's second stint in Ohio. But it all comes down to the input of this man right here. So who is Darius Garland? Just how good is he? And most importantly, does he really have what it takes to rule the NBA again? Well, folks, this is the story of Garland's potential legendary comeback season and how he can finally bring the Cavaliers some NBA success. But before we dive right into the action, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more exciting content like this one. Ready? Good. Now, let's get this ball rolling.
Calculated, taking their time. Garland.
Any OG fan out there who witnessed the gospel of Darius Garland in the 2021 to 2022 season and the season after that should already know why DG is still the main man in Cleveland. But while the youngster is unarguably the face of the franchise and the focal point of the young Cavs team, his journey so far hasn't been the smoothest. From failing to live up to the expectations of being a 5th overall draft pick in his rookie season to having to deal with heavy criticisms about his performance, the youngster has had to overcome his fair share of adversaries to make it to the top. Oh, and you probably didn't know this, but young Garland was even named among the worst players in the NBA in his first season. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're thinking that was way too harsh, well, it probably was. But it wasn't wide off the mark either, because if we're being honest, Darius' first season was hardly anything to write home about. But then, like a phoenix rising out of that disappointment, Garland finally exploded onto the scene.
Quarters injury history, and boy, they came up big as Garland works his way inside.
And boy, oh boy, this lad has been nothing short of phenomenal. He even went on to rank 3rd for the most improved player in 2022 behind Ja Morant and DeJounte Murray. However, just when he was starting to really dominate, his injury woes hit last season and completely knocked the wind out of his sail. First, he would be sidelined for 2 weeks after spraining his ankle on the opening night of the season. Then, not long after his return, the 23-year-old broke his jaw after a nasty collision with Celtics' Kristaps Porzingis. This time, the Cavs star player was out for 6 weeks and even had the wiring removed from his broken jaw to aid recovery. Overall, Garland missed 25 games last season due to injuries. And as you'd expect, recovery wasn't easy for him. In his reflection on this trying time, Darius stated that it had messed him up physically and mentally too. According to him, not being able to step in and help your team when they need you really gets to you more than you know. Of course, the star point guard did make his return last season, but he wasn't quite the man the Cleveland supporters had come to fall in love with. His handling was a bit loose, and the fact that he couldn't protect the ball as well as he used to saw the team suffer more dangerous turnovers.
The catalyst here tonight. Garland works on straw, the right to the back.
His defensive prowess also declined, while his shooting accuracy noticeably went down from over 50%, where it hovered around in the past couple of seasons, to just under 46%. He wasn't a complete shadow of himself per se, but he wasn't nearly as good as we know him to be either. And as you'd expect, it kind of affected the team's productivity, especially since his chemistry with the likes of Mitchell wasn't quite at a level to cause problems for any opposition. Now, with the start of a new NBA season rapidly approaching, there's a new wave of speculation surrounding Garland's comeback. Heck, some are even saying he may well return as the Messiah that this Cavs team has so desperately needed since LeBron's second exit. However, you just can't help but wonder if the superstar is really poised to shake off the woes of the last outing and put up another jaw-dropping season. Well, we've already seen glimpses of what this young man is capable of, but you and I can tell that he hasn't reached his full potential yet.
Minutes remaining in this third quarter. Garland on the screen from top.
Of course, from what we've seen so far, it's already as clear as daylight that this dude can ball. I mean, we are talking about an NBA All-Star here, and it's almost impossible to forget the exploits of DG the PG in that incredible breakout season he had in 2022. Indeed, as we have come to realize already, the NBA is not a plug-and-play league, which is why it took the youngster a little time to fully hit his stride in the league. But once he did, there was virtually no stopping him on the court, and he also had the stats to show for it. In the 68 games he played in the 2021 to 2022 season, the exciting youngster put up an average of 21.7 points, 8.6 assists, and 3.3 rebounds per game, which is just so incredible. He then went ahead and put up almost identical stats in the 2022 to 2023 season to seal his status as the star of the team. Oh, and there's no forgetting his 51-point game in November of 2022 that saw him become just the fourth player to have a 50-point game in the history of the franchise. I mean, it's even more impressive when you realize the only players to have done it before him were Kyrie Irving, Walt Wesley, and the King, LeBron himself. Talk about an elite company, right? But then, even these superb numbers didn't tell the full tale of how exceptional Garland has been for the Cavaliers. You see, unlike other young players who only seek opportunities to stat pad, Garland also aced the eye test, showing incredible all-around excellence, with an added bit of spice to always give the crowd something to cheer about. That's why they love him in these parts. Plus, he always plays with a distinguished smile on his face. Of course, at 6'1", Garland may not be the biggest or most physically imposing for a point guard. However, it is not his physicality that has seen him excel in the position so far, but more of brilliance and elite IQ. You see, one thing that this young star has going for him the most is his excellent reading of the game. He always knows exactly what to do whenever he's on the ball, and it's added that bit of edge to the team's overall play. He also thrives with his incredible ball handling, shooting accuracy, and playmaking, which seems to get better with each game. Garland's also one heck of an athlete in the way he moves up and down the court, dribbling and manipulating spaces. These qualities have seen him operate effectively as a slippery scorer when he runs to the rim. But then, one aspect we can't even begin to talk about is his leadership capabilities. Tell you what, Garland may still be only 24, but he's already way more experienced than you'd expect, showing maturity that far exceeds his age. He has also emerged as the leader for this young and hungry Cavs side. Of course, last season wasn't the best one for Garland as he struggled to stay fit and never really clicked as you'd expect when he was available. But even at that, the point guard still managed 18 points, 6.5 assists, and 2.7 rebounds per game. There were also a few indications that he could really make a proper duo alongside his new backcourt partner Donovan Mitchell, as long as the two can find their rhythm. And for the Cleveland faithful, they can only hope for more chemistry from their backcourt duo while licking their lips at the prospect of both guards hitting top form when the 2024 to 2025 season commences. No doubt, the fans in this part have multiple reasons to be excited about the new NBA season. Firstly, the fact that Garland has elected to stay in Cleveland after several rumors linking him with a move away over the summer means they get to keep their star man. But then, it is the prospect of getting a rejuvenated Garland that really gets their adrenaline pumping. Oh, and yes, they may just be getting both wishes. You see, injuries and form aside, one of the problems that really affected Darius last season was all the attention he was getting from opponents. I mean, they already marked him as the danger man, so it wasn't unusual to see teams put 2 or even 3 players on him, but then we might just be seeing slightly less of such markout this season, which will once again give him the freedom to operate as he likes. Perhaps his very low ranking last season may yet turn out to have a silver lining. Also, the fact that he'd managed to rise from the depths to secure top form before means he can absolutely do it again. And with all the experience he has garnered over the past few years, you just know it's going to be scary for anyone trying to stop him. But beyond that, beyond the individual redemption of Darius Garland, there's also a good feeling about the season for the Cavaliers. Their 48-34 record last time out wasn't the worst, and even though they ultimately crashed out in the second round of the playoffs to eventual winners, Boston Celtics, there were several positives to take from it. This season, the Cavs look stronger, with their main man still leading the group. However, Garland won't be doing it alone, as other key players like Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen are all prepared to make a statement too. Of course, it remains to be seen whether Garland can really find his best form and trigger an all-round response from the rest of the team. But in the meantime, there's more than enough reason for the Clevelanders to remain hopeful for a redemption season. But we will like to hear your opinion too. Do you think the superstar has it in him to spark a revival, or will the Cavaliers have to look for another Messiah? Let us know your opinion in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that subscribe icon to catch more exciting videos about your favorite NBA stars and teams.